exactly what I
You
do.
know, while real challenges existed, a lot of folks just focused on keeping black people angry and stressed out and feeling like victims rather than focusing on practical solutions. Okay? So the telltale sign of a race hustler is they give you the problem, they tell you to be a victim, but they don't actually give you any actual solutions. You understand what I'm saying? We boycotted, the Montgomery boycott gave a solution. And that's central to that was unity. Somebody type unity in the chat room because we're going to talk about that. Unity, self-love. I ain't talking about love for your people. I want you to look in the mirror. I'm talking about the love. The love for your people starts with the love of you and your individual self. Okay. Now, the other thing about these race hustler types, they make money from racial issues. Many of these race hustler types, they gain financially from racial conflicts. It's no different than the people who make money off war. Okay, but if we go back to the 1960s, after the civil rights movement brought a whole bunch of legal victories, right? There was some activists that turned right around and turned their attention towards personal financial gain. Rather than helping the community progress, right? They received money from donations, speaking events, or media appearances that kept them in the spotlight. It's the same thing that BLM did in their leadership. I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter as a grassroots organization. I'm talking about big, large mansions, which is what they use your money for. Your donations, they bought big, large mansions. You know what I'm talking about, okay? So that's just race hustle. They wasn't in it for real. They didn't really care. And I'm not saying you have to be some poor, righteous teacher, okay? But at some point, if you really all in for people give you money to help fight racial issues in America, that does not mean that you're supposed to stake it and buy some big, large mansions. You're supposed to put that money towards legal defense, overturning wrongful convictions. You're supposed to have community programs that feed the children, that educate the children before and after school on how to read and do math. That's what you're supposed to do. That's when you show that Black Lives Matter, not going out there spending $2-3 million on a mansion. You understand? And those ladies just ruined. You're supposed to come up with you're supposed to try to control the media narrative. You see what I'm saying? By taking over media discussions, for instance, when you look at these media, these race hustlers, right? And I know we hate that word, but I'm gonna give you definitions for it. When you look at them, look at the media discussions that involve these race hustlers and how they influence race issues and how they're viewed. Look in the 1990s, all the major news coverage of events, whether we're talking about Rodney King's beating, something I personally experienced in the LA riots, being that I was there at that time, it shaped public opinion about police brutality and racism. All right, while there's some real issues, you know, some of these folks use that moment to push their own personal agendas rather than work towards real solutions. Okay, the truth is you're going to have racist cops no matter where you go, just like you have racist doctors, racist judges, racist nurses, racist window cleaners, racist lawn care people. This is everywhere. The problem is when you have folk like that who have the power of life and death and they bring their prejudices with them to the job. That's the problem, okay? But there was recently a nurse who did some horrible things to some children of color in the hospital. And so she didn't have the power of life and death, but she had the power over children's life, you know, because you get put with the wrong parent. But anyway, they also create division instead of solutions. Race hustler strategy often relies on keeping people divided. And this was seen in the Black Power movement in the late 1960s, where some of the leaders were encouraged to separate from the mainstream society rather than working for unity. And although the Black empowerment is important, constant division makes it harder to find practical ways to address racial equalities. If Donald Trump can talk to Russia, then why is it that we can't talk to these people who police our community or these people who are in charge of the judiciary? right? I mean, you just gonna be totally separate. I don't see how that works in a society where you're surrounded. You understand me? I don't think it works like that. As a practical matter, it's just stupid. You have to talk to people. Now, speaking to a person from a position of power, as opposed to going over there begging, and that's another thing I'm gonna deal with. Another issue that Black Americans have is we want to be liked. We literally want to be loved by folk. I'm not like that. I don't care if you like me or not. I just don't care. I mean, my folks who've been here for a minute know I openly tell you I'm the bad guy, and the bad guy just doesn't care about you or your feelings or how you think. I'm old school in that regard. I don't care what you think, as long as you stay out of my face. You see what I mean? And I damn sure don't care what some bigot thinks about me because of the color of my skin. I just don't care what you think. Just stay out of my face. And if you don't, there's going to be some repercussions. But largely, Black Americans suffer from a cultural wide set of low self-esteem issues. And it's absolutely ridiculous. We are some of the richest people on the planet. Okay. We darn near have $2 trillion of earning potential. And just to put that in perspective, Russia's gross domestic product is $2 million. Russia, arguably the second most powerful nation in the world, has $2 trillion. And Black Americans alone have $2 trillion in spending power. You understand what I'm saying? So why do we have such low self-esteem? Why do we need people to like us? But I'll deal with that a little bit later. So again, when we talk about political power and influence as related to these same race hustlers, they're aligned with the political movements to gain power, even if it does not always help the people they claim to represent. Why would we be aligned with the Democrat Party? The Democrat Party doesn't do anything for us. But the race hustlers, and these are a lot of our congressmen and representatives and whatnot, and activists, they align with the Democrat Party. And during the 1980s and 1990s, politicians often use these race-based issues to secure votes rather than make real change. Okay, and that's where the whole thing of identity politics spark. If I can make them afraid of my opponent, they'll vote for me. And that's something we need to explain. Other thing these race hustlers do is they have to keep themselves relevant. Many of these race hustlers continue to bring up past racial injustices to maintain their influence. For instance, slavery, it ended in 1865. All right. By the time the civil rights movement popped up 100 years later in 1964. Okay, but you still have people, and that gave us the rights. See, our people were never concerned with what some white man or whoever man, some derogatory name, what they had to say. See, back in the day, the N-word was just used in casual conversation. If you look at some of these old movies back then, we didn't care about that. What we cared about was getting in schools. We cared about housing. We cared about loans. We cared about business. And so the 1964 Civil Rights Bill and the laws that came afterward, it did away with housing discrimination. It did away with redlining, made it illegal. It gave us the right to vote. Actually, we got the right to vote in the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. But what I'm saying is that was the institutional racism. That's the issue. I don't care what these fools say to me. Now, if you say it in my face, you might get a response. I know you have, freedom of speech, but you can't control how a person responds to you after you exercise your freedom of speech. So I'll just lay that down right there. But the bottom line is it was always systematic racism that we had an issue with. Whether or not we can get to this university, whether or not we can get to this job. You see, these are the things, because we were a self-sufficient people. You see what I mean? But you still got folks focusing on civil rights bills, right, from past oppression. It's 2025, baby. We talking about something that's 60 years ago at this point now. We talking about something that's 60 years ago. Imagine if it was 1990, okay, or 2000, and you got somebody talking about something from 1940s. Oh, no, man. Okay, and look, nobody's going to stop Black folks from voting when we want to get together and vote. We are not the people that we were in 1965. We were largely uneducated. We were largely fresh off the plantations, agrarian. Okay, we are not the same people. We are a very sophisticated group of African people on this planet. We are the richest group of Africans on this planet. All right, each one of y'all have $1,000 cell phone in your pocket right now, which is or laying next to your bed on the pillow, listening to what I'm talking about right now. You understand what I'm saying? We are not that group of people. I need y'all to understand that. Okay, give yourself some credit. We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. They had that excuse. We don't have that excuse. Okay, now the other thing is, if someone disagrees with these race hustlers, right? What's the message? They're gonna attack you. They're gonna call you a sellout, right? They're gonna tell you you're an omnivorous, nocturnal animal that rummages through the garbage at night, right? They try that, okay? And this is what happened when your so-called Black conservatives or leaders who were focused on self-reliance, like just name a few, Thomas Sowell, and somebody I actually just discovered about 3 or 4 years ago. They were criticized for not following the mainstream racial narratives. But here's the cold part about it. All of our ancestors before, the ones that built the universities, the ones that built all those towns, do you think white folks came to those communities and built those thousands of little? Do you think white folks built Tulsa, Oklahoma? Or was it a bunch of Black folks in there who said, nah, we're going to be self-reliant? And just so you all know, I need you to understand something. They rebuilt Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was bigger and better than ever. It got burned down in 2020, in 1921. But by 1940, it was built back better than ever. I just need y'all to understand that. Our people built back. They built it back better. What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D. People wash their ass in the tub, Kamala Harris.
You were tuned in to Uncle D. D's Black Man Talk. Pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something, then you earn something. Let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. Lizard King here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Attorney Spurling, this ain't pearly, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shooting, give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Molly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, voting earns. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you been served, gotta know this. 9 black men out here, know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. 9 black men out here, know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. 9 black men out here, know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. 9 black men out here, know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I'll do what I do.
Somebody need to whip your ass.
Get up and whip him, Sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Flowbee and cut your own damn hair from now on.